Hey guys, Tina here. This week I have a yoga for athletes, specifically CrossFit athletes. We will really work to bring some suppleness and restoration as well as some strength and stability into areas that are often worked during more intense and physical athletic type workouts. I suggest having a block, or it can be a book, a kettlebell even, anything to help bring the floor closer to you. Also a strap or a blanket. If you don't have a strap, just like a long sleeve shirt or any t-shirt or towel will work nicely. Or like I have, instead of a yoga blanket, just a nice thick beach towel. Those are nice options to have. You may or may not need them, but I suggest having them ready so you can really work to open and relax in this practice. Let's get started.
Begin in downward facing dog. From a plank position, send the hips up and back, coming into an upside down V position. Begin drawing in the belly and walking the hands back towards the feet, softening the knees so the fingertips, palms can rest to the mat and the torso can fold over the thighs. A gentle forward fold. Begin walking the hands back out into a plank and releasing the hips back into down dog. Heels descending towards the mat, pushing down into the palms. Walking the hands gradually back towards the feet, gently stretching the back of the thighs as you fold the torso over the legs. Walking the hands back out into a plank and drawing the belly in as you lift the hips up and back into downward facing dog. Letting the chest reach back towards the thighs, feeling an opening across the chest. And one final time, walking the hands back towards the feet, letting the spine release long out of the hips, head relaxing down, gentle forward fold. And releasing, walking the hands back out and sending the hips back into downward facing dog. Pushing down into the index, thumb side of the hand, feeling a stretch through the back of the calf and the Achilles. And we're going to deepen that stretch here, lifting the right leg up, keeping the toes pointing straight down, thigh parallel to the mat. Push back through that right foot as you let the left heel drop further towards the mat. Weight balance between both hands. A deeper stretch down that left calf, left Achilles at the back of the heel, back of the ankle. Switching out the sides, right leg comes down, left leg lifts, thigh parallel, toes pointing straight down as you reach back through that heel and descend the right heel closer to the mat. And releasing. Pausing in your down dog, both heels releasing towards the mat, stretching the back of the thighs. On your next inhale, stepping the left foot up between the hands. Right knee comes down, top of foot down. Bringing the hands on top of the left thigh. Tucking the tail slightly under to create length in the low back. And then releasing that right hip forward. Feeling a stretch across the front of the right thigh into the hip flexor. Spine staying long and lifted. Shoulders relaxed down away from the ears. Taking deep inhalations and exhalations. Releasing from there, bringing the hip on top of the knee. Keeping the left hand on top of the left thigh, reach the right arm up and over, gazing up and feeling a stretch come from the outside of the right hip up through the right side of the body. Space coming between each rib as you reach up and over, and even feeling a stretch into that right hip, right IT band. Release the fingers to the mat, tuck the toes of the right foot, and send the hips back for a stretch in the left hamstring. Keeping the chest lifted, flexing through that left foot, peeling the toes back, engaging that leg on all sides. Continuing to breathe deeply in and out the nose. And releasing, planting the hands, stepping the left foot back into downward facing dog. Lifting the right foot up, pushing down through the left heel, stretching the back of that left calf, the back of the ankle, moving to lift the left leg up, reaching back through the left foot as the right heel descends down further, deepening the stretch on the back of that ankle, calf, and even up into the hamstring of the right leg. And lowering the left leg down, using belly strength to draw the right foot up between the hands, left knee coming down, top of foot releases down, bringing the hands to the top of the right thigh, lengthening the tailbone down to create space for the low back as you gradually descend the left hip forward. Feeling a gentle stretch across the front of the left quadricep, the left hip flexor, as the spine lifts up and out of the hips and the shoulders relax down. With each exhale, allowing the hips to release deeper. And releasing, coming back up, stacking hip over knee. Right hand stays on top of right thigh, left arm reaches up and over. Gaze can turn slightly up as comfortable for the neck. Feeling the stretch deepen on the outside of the left hip, maybe down into the left IT band, outside of the knee. And with each exhale, allowing the torso to drop deeper, feeling expansion come between each rib bone. And finishing up, releasing on an inhale, placing the fingertips down, tucking the toes of the left foot, descending the hips down and back for a runner's lunge, hamstring stretch. Keeping a lift in the chest on this set, flexing the right toes back, engaging all sides of the right thigh. Not just sinking into the stretch, but actively lengthening the muscle. And releasing, hands come back up, plant them down firmly, step the right foot back, down dog. Using belly strength, draw the left knee up and in, setting the foot down between the hands, coming back into your low lunge with the right knee down, top of foot down. Plant the right hand inside the left ankle and twisting from the belly, bring the left hand on top of the left thigh or reach the arm up towards the ceiling, feeling a greater stretch across the chest. Reaching the arm straight back behind you out of the shoulder, feeling an opening across the front of the left shoulder. Staying there or trying to bend the right knee, reaching to grab outer edge of that foot with the left hand. Left shoulder continuing to roll down and back, stretching across the front of the chest. If you cannot reach the foot, just let it release down and keep reaching back through the arm for those couple of breaths. And we'll all release here back into that hamstring stretch with the toes tucked. This time allowing the torso to fold over the leg. Forehead relaxing down to the knee, to the shin. Gradually deepening with each exhalation. Focusing more on how the pose feels than how it looks. Releasing from there, back into your downward facing dog. Moving to the right side. Drawing the knee up and in, setting the foot down between the hands. Releasing left knee down, left hand inside of right ankle. Bringing the hand to the thigh, twisting from the belly before reaching that arm up to expand further through the arms, allowing the chest to open further. Reaching the hands away from one another before releasing the arms straight back out of the shoulder. If you bend the knee on the other side, do so here, reaching to grab outer edge of foot, or feel free to keep the toes down and reaching back through the fingertips, twisting from the belly, allowing the shoulders to drop open. Taking the stretch where it feels nice for you, therapeutic for the body, not forcing anything at all. Coming into the runner's lunge, tucking the toes of the left, releasing the hips back, stretching the right hamstring, and allowing the torso to fold over the legs. Forehead relaxing down. Taking deep breaths in and out of the nose. Feeling that tension release from the back of the hamstring. Letting go of the stretch, crawling the hands forward, planting them down, and stepping back into downward facing dog. Stepping the left foot up between the hands. Staying on the toes of the right foot, a low crescent lunge, pushing actively back through the right heel, stretching the sole of the foot, lifting the hands up off the mat with the thumbs facing up, reach the fingers back, really stretching, broadening across the front of the chest. Hands come back down, step the right foot up so your feet are about 3 feet apart. And bring that block, water bottle, kettlebell, whatever you have, underneath the hands, directly underneath the shoulders. Allowing both legs to get nice and straight, reaching the hips back as the chest reaches forward. And then finding a comfortable position. Maybe your hamstrings feel open enough to bring fingers to the mat. But if not, that's okay. Keep the hands to the block. Engaging the back of the legs, lifting the hamstrings up towards the sitting bones as you push down into the feet. Staying active and strong through the legs to really release through the spine. Shoulders relaxing away from the ears. And breathing. Next inhale lifts the chest, bending into that front knee, stepping the right foot up, bending the knee, sitting down into an imaginary chair. Garudasana, eagle. Bring your left arm underneath the right, crossing at the elbows and then again at the wrist. I'll quickly show you what it looks like. If that feels too much on your chest or shoulders, then just plant the palms and forearms together, choosing a variation that feels right for your body today. Lift the left leg up and over the right, crossing at the thighs, as feels okay for your knee and ankle joint, crossing the left foot behind the right calf. From here, really squeezing inner thighs together, squeezing forearms together, compressing into the joints. And release the pose. Left leg comes down, arms release, folding over the thighs, stepping back into your down dog. Right foot steps up between the hands, staying on the toes of the left, pushing back through that left heel, stretching the back of the calf. Lifting the fingers up off the mat, reaching the arms back, thumbs towards the sky as the chest reaches forward. Feeling a stretch through the biceps, shoulders, as we build heat into the lower body. Release the hands down, step the left foot up so both feet are about 3.5 feet apart, and find your height. Bring the floor to you so both legs can release and lengthen through the back of the hamstrings. Hips reach back, weight into the heels as the spine reaches out long from the hips. And folding over the front thigh. Once you find the right positioning, right height of any props that you're using, or fingers to the floor, the aim of this practice is not to see how deep you can go into the poses, how hard you can push yourself into the poses. It's about restoring the body, finding balance and healing for some of the areas that we often work and ask a lot of in our physical sport. So take what you need today. Bending into the front knee, stepping the feet side by side, sitting the hips down and back into a chair. Right arm coming underneath the left, this time crossing at the elbows and the wrists, or taking the palms, forearms flat to one another on the other side if you chose that option. Lifting the right leg up and over, crossing at the knees, foot wrapping behind the calf as able. You should never feel any pulling into the joints, so if that causes any pulling sensation, then just let the leg rest out to the side of the left. Squeezing inner thighs, forearms together, compressing into the joints, and releasing the leg, folding over the legs with the torso. Go ahead and remove your block or whatever prop you had here as you step back into downward facing dog. Feeling nice and open here, more so than when you first started the practice. On an inhale, lengthen the chest forward into a plank. Bend the elbows slightly, hug the elbows in, sucking the arm bones up into the sockets, feeling nice and stable into the shoulder joint. A little external rotation to find stability in our shoulder girdle. Lowering down onto the forearms for dolphin pose. Taking an interlaced grip, pushing down into the forearms as you walk the toes in towards the nose, reaching the chest back towards the legs, lifting the right leg, thigh parallel to the mat, pushing back through the right toes, letting the left heel descend down closer to the mat. Continue pushing down into the forearms, squeezing elbows in towards one another as you lift the left leg up, reaching back through the left heel reaching right heel down into the mat. And release. Stepping the feet back, coming back into a plank. And bringing the hands up to straight arm, hugging the outer arms in as you lower down, chaturanga, coming all the way to the mat. Turning the tops of the feet over, squeezing the thighs, drawing the belly in, and on an inhale, peeling the chest up. Exhale lowers you down. Inhale, rolling the chest up for cobra. Shoulders rolling down and back. Exhale, releases the pose. One final time, cobra. Exhale, release. Releasing the arms down by the side, gazing to the right side of your mat. Resting for a moment here. Finding a balance between activity and calm. Flip the palms over so the thumbs face away from you. We'll lift upper and lower body together here. Arms are out about 2 to 3 feet from the side of the body. On an inhale, lift upper and lower body together, reaching the chest forward as you reach the fingers back, thumbs turning up to the sky, feet reaching back and lower. Gazing the opposite direction, arms resting by the sides of the body. Bring the forehead back center line for another round of locust pose. Exhale, pulls the belly into the spine. Inhale, lifts the legs and chest up off the mat. Turning the thumbs up to the sky as you reach back, stretching through the biceps, shoulders. Reaching the toes back, strengthening the lower back by lifting further and releasing down. Tucking the toes, hands underneath the shoulders, releasing back into downward facing dog. Left leg lifts behind you. Draw the knee into the belly and release. Left knee comes down next to left wrist, and the knee bends so the ankle comes close to the right hip. The right leg reaches straight out behind you with the top of the foot down, pigeon pose. Check to make sure the left knee is in line with the left hip, and if you feel any pulling into the hip or knee on that left side, take a block or a towel or a blanket and just slide it underneath that hip so it feels supported. On an exhale, reach the torso out over the shin of the left leg. You can prop up on the forearms, rest the forehead to a block or towel, or release all the way down with the forehead coming to the mat. Noticing any sensation of strain or pulling at the hip or knee joint. And if you feel anything like that, please take some support. You will feel a deep stretch to the outer left hip, the piriformis, glute medius, those external rotators of the hip. Deepen the breath to release any tension there. And on your next inhale, walk the hands back in. Tuck the toes of the right foot, push down into the hands to send your left leg back into down dog. Should feel some blood flow into that left leg after some mild compression in pigeon. And moving into the right side. Right leg lifts, drawing the knee in, right knee to right elbow, sending the left leg straight behind, right ankle, heel coming towards that left hip. Checking your alignment, right knee in line with right hip, left leg reaching straight out behind the left hip. Taking support here underneath the right hip if you use it on the other side. And releasing the torso over the right shin, either propping on the forearms, resting the forehead to a block, or coming all the way down with the forehead to the mat. Feeling absolutely zero strain into the joints, using support should you feel anything of that nature. Otherwise, allowing those sensations of the hip opening, the experience of that deep stretch to just wash over you, not having to hold tension here, but allowing it to release and create mobility for the body, healing for the body. Gently releasing on an inhale, bringing the upper body upright, tucking the toes, and coming back into downward facing dog. Releasing the knees down to the mat, taking Virasana Hero's Pose. I suggest grabbing a block or having your towel, also having a strap ready. Just go ahead and have all your props ready to go. You might need them here. The knees will come together and the tops of the feet down, the heels will open so the hips can ease back between the heels. I'll turn so you can see from a front view. I suggest sitting onto a block or a towel here to feel nice and relaxed in the seated position, gently opening up the hips and the tops of the thighs. Bring the strap into your left hand. Bend the elbow, dropping the strap behind you. Turn the right thumb down towards the floor. Bend the elbow, bringing the back of the right hand onto the back side of the body, grabbing the strap. Gomukhasana arms. This is a deep shoulder opener, which is why we're using the strap, so you can get a gentle stretch and not have to feel any strain or pulling to get into the pose. If you're able to bring the fingers together and clasp them, wonderful. Really focus on reaching the elbows away from one another, staying lifted in the chest, allowing the strap to bring that gentle opening. Release the strap from your top arm, bring the top arm up. The strap should now be in your right hand. Bring the right hand overhead, palm turned in, dropping the elbow, bringing the strap behind. Left thumb turns down, bending the elbow, bringing the back of the left hand onto the back side of the body as you grab the strap. Elbows reach away from one another. The belly draws in to help support the spine, engaging the core. Sitting tall and proud, lifted in the chest. Feeling that stretch through the shoulders. Releasing the top arm, releasing the bottom, setting the strap off to the side, and gently releasing up from your Virasana Hero's Pose position in the legs, stretching one leg out behind you at a time, really squeezing that thigh muscle, feeling the blood rush back into the lower body. And coming to a seated position with the legs extended out long in front of you, feeling grounded into both sitting bones. Bending the right knee, crossing the leg over the left, keeping the left leg extended, or you can bend the left knee to bring the heel towards the opposite hip. Hook the knee into the elbow and bring your right hand behind your right hip. Keeping both sitting bones down into the mat, lengthen the spine up, and exhale, twist from the belly, gazing over the shoulder. Allowing some stretch to come into that upper back. Releasing the legs out long in front of you again, taking left leg over the right, sole of the foot outside the right knee, right thigh, and bending to bring the right heel to the hip if you bent the leg on the other side. Hooking the knee into the elbow, bringing left hand behind left hip, lengthening up on an inhale, twisting from the belly on the exhale, gazing over the shoulder. Feeling a stretch come into that upper middle back. Shoulders relaxed away from ears. And releasing. Both legs extended out in front of you. And folding forward. A gentle forward fold. The backs of the thighs stay down towards the mat, legs long. Hands just rest wherever they fall on the outside of the legs. And releasing, walking the hands back up, scooting the hips slightly forward, rolling down onto the back with control. Arms come out in line with the shoulders in a goalpost position, elbows bent, knees draw into the chest. Releasing the knees over to the right, gazing over the left shoulder for a gentle supine twist. The left shoulder might lift off the mat, and that's okay. Keep hip over hip, knee over knee for alignment in the hips and low back. Using belly strength, draw the knees back up, center line, and release them over to the left. Bringing the knees back up center, hugging them in gently, feeling the spine release down to the mat from the base of the neck through the tailbone. Arms relax out by the side. Legs release out long in front of you for your final Shavasana. Allowing time for relaxation here. Giving yourself permission to just be. Taking about 5 more deep breaths in silence, thanking your body for your practice today. I hope you feel open, relieved, and joyous. Bring your hands in prayer at the heart, sealing the practice. Thank you for sharing with me. Namaste.